Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this video. I am Austin, and this is Following Jesus, episode 17. Wait, what? Yeah, this might actually be episode 17. Um, we are currently on Matthew chapter 16. If you don't know what Following Jesus is, we're basically just reading the Bible. We started with Matthew 3, and here we are on Matthew 16. If you haven't seen those videos, you can go back and watch those videos on my TikTok page or YouTube page, whichever one you're watching. Normally I do a recap, but for the past few episodes I haven't been doing a recap because the chapters are long. This episode will not be an exception. It'll be the same. I'm not going to go over um, the past few chapters. We'll just get straight into it. We will go over the last one. The last chapter, we know that Jesus was talking about the tradition of men following after traditions and making the commandments of God of none effect because of traditions. He also was speaking about what comes from the heart. Yeah, he was speaking about what comes from the heart. What is it that defiles a man? The things, the wickedness in his heart, or whatever defiles him. So yeah, this is what he was talking about. What else? He came to a multitude, fed them fish and bread. And that leads us to where we are now. And he sent away the multitude. Matthew chapter 15, verse 39. It says, and he sent away the multitude and took ship and came into the coast of Magdala. Matthew 16, verse 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the sign of the times? A wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. We don't have to get into this. He actually said this to another set of Pharisees, scribes and Pharisees, in I believe Matthew chapter 10, if I'm guessing. I believe Matthew chapter 10 somewhere. We already read that. So we go to verse 5. I don't have to expound on that. Verse 5. And when his disciples were come to the other side, they had forgotten to take bread. Then Jesus said unto them, take heed and beware of the leaven of Pharisees and of the Sadducees. And they reasoned among themselves, saying, it is because we have taken no bread. Which when Jesus perceived, he said unto them, O ye of little faith, why reason ye among yourselves, because ye have brought no bread? Do you not understand? Do you not yet understand? Neither remembereth the 5 loaves of the 5,000 of how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not to you concerning bread, that ye should beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees? Jesus says something that I would like to point out. He called them again in another in an older video. I said how we need to, if you realize when the Sadducees and the Pharisees spoke about things, they referred to it as sin. And when Jesus says things, he never really focused so much on sin. He's focused on faith. And if you watch one of my videos concerning sin and faith, I let you know that the works, sin is pertaining to the works of the law, but faith is the underlying cause of why a person would disobey the law. An example that I can give with that is, if I'm in this room right now and I'm with a person, and let's say or let's say I'm on camera right now, and I know I really want to steal this Bible right here, but I'm on camera. I won't steal the Bible because I believe somebody is watching me. But if I get a little doubt at any time that a person is not watching me, that's going to be the opportunity I take to steal this Bible. So sometimes we do works and we do things right in the eyes of God. You abstain from doing certain things. You feel like you could get away with cheating on your spouse. You feel like you could get away with lying. You feel like you could get away with stealing. You feel like you could get away with all these things. And the reason why you don't obey the law and do what's right is because of your faith. Because you don't truly believe that God is watching. If you truly believe that God is watching and there was an ultimate consequence for it, you probably wouldn't do it. So a lot of times the devil actually plays on your faith to get you to sin. And some people think, oh, I sinned because it was this. If you think about it, you actually sinned because you didn't have faith. If I believe that either you didn't have faith or you don't fear God, or you do believe in him and you do believe in him, you just don't fear him. So it's one of the two. So it's faith is the underlying cause of why we do certain things. The second, sometimes the devil will prey on your faith to get you to do things inconvenient for the flesh. Inconvenient for the spirit and convenient for the flesh. So right before you do certain things, he will say, um, right before you do certain things, he would say, God's not real. And you may not even notice it, but I actually tend to notice it. If you do anything wrong, if you know you want to cuss somebody out, or let's say you've been living a life holy as long as you can, and then sometimes you just sit into yourself, and the devil's like, "Are you wasting your time going to church every Sunday? You could just go to work. Like you could. Are you wasting your time doing this? Are you wasting your time doing these videos? Are you wasting your time doing?" He makes you stop believing, and then you will stop working. Just like at a job, you miss that first paycheck. You like, you know what? I'm gonna keep working. I have faith that they're gonna pay me. After that second paycheck, I'm not too sure. The third paycheck, you're gonna stop doing the work, and it's not because the work is hard or because it's just hard. It's just because you lost faith. It's not that you didn't want to do the work. It's just that you lost faith, so you ended up stop doing the work. So you stop believing, and that's why I believe Jesus referred to a lot of people. He always referred to their faith. He said, "Oh ye of little faith." He said, "Oh ye of little faith." But anyways, we are at verse 12. Then understood they how that he bade them not to beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So he was telling them to basically be mindful of eating the stuff that the crap that the Pharisees. Why did I correct stuff to say crap? But anyways, to correct, man, what? I'm sorry, y'all. Then understood they how that he bade them not beware of the leaven of bread, but of the doctrine of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees. So he was telling them, beware of the stuff that these people are feeding you, like the stuff they're telling you, the stuff they're teaching you. Just beware of it. I might have to split up this video because I think my kids are going to come in here making a bunch of noise in just a second. Let me try to hurry up. Then Jesus went into the coast of Caesarea. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? And they said, Some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and some others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention something that now that it's coming to my mind. If we look at, let me finish at least. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. Okay, now to backtrack, I just realized what I said. I also said how Jesus referred to them as having little faith, but I didn't really go into why he said they have little faith. He said, didn't we? He said in verse 9, he said, Do you not yet understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets ye took up? Neither the 7 loaves of the 4,000 and how many baskets ye took up? How is it that ye do not understand that I spake it not of you concerning bread? So there's times in our lives when Jesus he does so much for us. Like me personally, I think about it, and everything that has not happened to me, every job that I didn't get, I thank the Lord that I didn't get it. Every job that I did get has led me to be right where I am now. Like, I can't even explain how perfectly lined up my experience just lines up to help me get to where I am now. Every single job I had contributed to it. The people that I could have been married to, the people that I could have been in long relationships with, that he didn't let me be in a relationship with, I thank the Lord Jesus Christ. The people that I am with, and the wife that I have, the kids that I have, the home even the way he set me up into a home, the way he even guided my path to be in a home and just be taken care of. I literally, and I'm speaking from my point of view, I literally have everything I want. I think I can actually say I have everything I want in life. And the last thing I wanted was the Holy Ghost. And now it's like I actually have everything I want. And even though I have everything I want in life, I still manage to look at Jesus when the smallest thing happens. Man, if I'm late for an appointment because of how my personality is or whatever, I like things to go a certain way. Like I said before, I like looking, if you like self-evaluating, then you should actually Google and look up some tests and take like personality tests to see what your personality type is. If I mean, it's very interesting to find out, because then you'll find out, wow, this really is me. But I have an INTJ personality type, and one of the things we do is panic when things. Are you in the bathroom? Okay, hurry up and go use the bathroom, son. When things don't go right, like when things is not a certain way, it's like you just fast or whatever. But I think about it and I'm like, well, why am I so unfaithful? Like, why is it that the smallest? Did you flush that toilet? Why is it that the smallest? One second. Um, why is it that the smallest things just set me off? Like, get me so discouraged, get me so angry, get me so upset, bother me, stress me out. How much faith? Like, you have little faith. Like, if me, I can be driving and the car break down and I'm like, Lord Jesus. And I think he looks at me the same way he looks at his disciples when he says, close the door, son. Oh, close the door, please. When he says, dang, what was I saying, man? Oh, when he says, do you not understand or remember the five loaves? I feel like he looks at me like that sometimes. And you got to ask yourself that. Like, I'm speaking about me because I know me. I don't know you. I don't even know who's watching this. So ask yourself, like, really think about it and say, look, didn't the Lord bring me, like, what did the Lord bring me through? I shared with you my experience. But literally, like, look through your own experience and think of the people you could have been with, the people you, I mean, that might backfire for some people. If you're in the Lord, I'll say, the Lord brings us out of a lot of stuff and puts us in situations, even when things seem bad. Um, Even when things seem bad, He took us out of those situations. It's well, I can speak for myself. So for me to sit here and doubt just because a car breaks down or because something doesn't go the way I planned is kind of ridiculous. And I think the Lord looks at me the same way and be like, oh, ye of little faith. Like, didn't I bring you through this and didn't I bring you through this and now you're worried about a car? Are you serious? Now you're worried about a missed payment? Are you seriously gonna spaz over this? So I think that's how the Lord looks at those situations. So if the Lord brought you through stuff, just learn to be patient, learn to be faithful, and learn to keep trusting Him, and just remember the things He's done through you, the past, through you, for you in the past, and have the mindset if He did it before, He'll do it again. Verse 18. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. Going back to what we was reading, he said, who do men say that I am? Peter said, I know who you are. You're the Son of God. Now, Peter was a disciple and an apostle. He didn't say, I know who you are. You are the Father in Son form. He said, I know who you are. You are the Son of God. He didn't say, I know who you are. It's actually a mystery concerning who you are. And who you are is you came down and just all this extra crap. He straight up just said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus didn't scold him. He said, blessed art thou, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven, not in front of you, which is in heaven. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Argument alert, ding, 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 ding. This is something that people argue over a lot. This is something that when I was in college, I remember, and like I said, where I was very argumentative, and not argumentative, but I was judgmental when I was around that age at that time. Just young and a little bit overzealous. Not stupid, smart, but overzealous. So I would actually argue with people when with this verse it says, I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I remember when I was in college and I think the class was world religion. It was a world religion class. And I remember the teacher name, but I'm not going to say his name because then I don't know. I don't know how far these videos are going to go. But I remember he was saying in class that this was basically saying that um, Jesus Christ was saying that the church will be built on Peter. And something about the Catholics. That's why the Catholics say that Peter is the whatever. I think he was actually referring to what he said, what Peter said, not Peter himself. He said, upon this rock, or in other words, upon this foundation of what you said, that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. Upon this foundation, that's why it says he gave God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him should have everlasting life. In other words, his Son is the rock. His Son is the foundation of salvation. I think that's what he was saying. Again, will I sit here and argue with somebody over whether he was talking about Peter? No, because again, what does it profit me to do that? I don't think that has anything to do with salvation either. So don't let the devil distract you. So where you can be encouraging somebody to get to know Christ or be with Christ, instead y'all arguing over this verse, and both of y'all looking dumb because it has nothing to do with salvation. Verse 19. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. This is where we need to be careful, because you got a lot of people that will make themselves Peter and say, I got the keys to heaven. This is where you get your crazy cult leaders. They say things like this, and they'll say, they may manipulate this verse and say, Lord gave me keys to heaven, and whatsoever I bind. I know what I'm talking about. I literally seen a pastor do this. I seen a pastor do this. And I just looked and I said, what in the world is going on here now? Should we call the police? I literally seen a pastor pulling a lady out of a church. Well, pulling her back into the church. She was actually running out of the church, and he grabbed her and he was pulling her back into the church. He said, I'm going to bind you. Don't let me bind you. Don't let me bind you. And I said, what in the world? Don't know what was going on there, but I'm pretty sure it was of the devil. So, and this was a church we was actually about to walk into, that I was actually going to walk into. Not being judgmental, but I am, I'm pretty much judging the situation. It didn't look good at all. I said, this man is I don't know about this. But he was telling the woman that he's going to bind her. And I feel like that's very dangerous. When people read this verse, they need to be cautious of that, because there's people who sit here and they act like they have authority from God when God gave them nothing. If I get on TikTok and y'all hear Austin sitting here talking about something, the Lord appeared to me and told me that everybody needs to do such and such and such and such, or everybody's going to hell. Run. Run. I hope you don't tell me nothing like that tonight. But I doubt he will. But I'm just saying, run. A lot of people that do stuff like that are full of crap. The Lord never spoke to them. Matter of fact, he just said in the verse that we read in Matthew chapter 16 and verse 4, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonas. And he spoke about that in an earlier verse, that he's going to be three in the belly of the grave 3 days and 3 nights, as Jonah was in the belly of the whale 3 days and 3 nights. And people still looking for signs. And because they're still looking for signs, other than the fact that he got up and rose, they're going to be in these positions where they follow after these crazy nutcases that sit here and send you to a different country to drink poison and kill each other. It's ridiculous. But you have to be cautious of that. Like certain scriptures, when people read it, they will take it out of context to be able to control people. And this is one of them. I don't believe men have, and this is my belief. You can believe whatever you want to. I don't believe men have this power that Jesus was talking about to Peter when he said, whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. I don't even know what Jesus was talking about when he said that. And I don't really think it's important, as long as I'm not falling for another man saying that, because he was talking to Peter at the end of the day. Verse 20. Then charged he his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. It's completely opposite of what people do today. As I said, Jesus didn't make a name for himself, even though his purpose was to, I can't say that. He didn't make a name for himself. But for some reason, if we're supposed to be following Jesus, but we don't do that. We always want people to know what we did. We always want people to know what we said. Can you let them know I'm the one who gave this? And can you let them know I'm the one who orchestrated that or did this? I'm the reason why this happened, or shut up. Verse 21. From that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised again the third day. So again, Jesus is going through all this stuff, and he knows it. He knows he's gonna go through all this stuff. But the thing is, he knows he's gonna go through all this stuff. But the crazy thing is, he kept pushing. Like, and unfortunately, we are now in that same situation where we are gonna go through things. It says he suffered many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and be raised again the third day. Some of us is gonna have to be dealing with the same thing, and we know it. You know it, and you just have to be strong enough to go through it. Matter of fact, if we keep reading, it says, Then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, Be it far from thee, Lord, this shall not be unto thee. And he turned and said unto Peter, Get thee behind me, Satan, thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but those that be of men. You care about the things of men. You're not concerned about spiritual things. So you sit in here and you look at things naturally. I don't think he was speaking directly to Peter. I believe he was speaking to Satan, as he said, and Satan got into Peter at that time. So he spoke directly to Satan. And one of the things he said was that Satan say you don't savor the things of God, but the things of men. And sometimes we're like that. We are really concerned about what man, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I talk about that in almost all the videos. We're really, really concerned about things concerning men. But when people say things concerning the spirit or spiritual things that has to happen or that has to pass in order for God to get his agenda across, we say, oh no, don't say that, don't. Like, if I make a statement and say, I don't really know. I'm kind of indecisive. Do I want to be here, or do I want to just be with the Lord? Some people will look at it and say, "Oh no, don't you say that? Don't you say?" Because they don't understand that you're speaking spiritual. Because you see things spiritually. But again, don't get that twisted with nutcases that's gonna sit here and tell you to drink poison water now and talk about you're gonna be with the Lord. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just the best example, probably a bad example to give. Like I said, I don't know who's watching this, and I don't want them to take it out of context. Um, just like they did a couple seconds ago when Jesus was talking about leaven, and they think he's talking about bread, but he was talking about another thing. I don't want people to take that out of context. But anyways, verse 24. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. You have to deny yourself. You can't follow after Jesus Christ worried about yourself all the time, thinking about, oh, me. He took it a little further and said, For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Some people take that as, oh, if someone says, do you believe in Jesus? And you say yes, and they kill you. I don't think it's as blatant, and I think it's a little bit more subtle than that. I think it's if someone comes to you and says to you, have you been cheating? And you like, what? Your spouse comes to you and says, have you been cheating? And that conscience in your head is telling you, you know, you should have told her before. Now is you need to tell her, and you don't want to tell her. Now you're trying to save your life. You're trying to save your life, and you're avoiding doing righteous things. There's things that people are going to take to the grave with them before they confess and or tell somebody. That not tell anybody, but tell the person that needs to hear it. Like if you did cheat on your spouse or whatever, and you want forgiveness, you have to tell them. But you're willing to take that to the grave and be like, look, I'm not doing that. And why? Because you're trying to save your life, or people trying to save their life, as in matter of fact, people say it, YOLO. You only live once. I don't think I should be drinking. I don't think I should be having sex with all these people. I don't think I should be watching some of the stuff I'm watching. I don't think that, man, shut up, dude. You only live once. YOLO, you only live once. And you right. I only live once. So what do? You seek to save your life. You seek to save your life. It says, matter of fact, he said it in the verse before. It says, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Deny himself. Stop thinking about all the stuff you want. I know you want all these different women. I know you want all these different men. I know you want to try all these different drugs. I know you want to try all these different things. I know you want to wear what you want. I know you want to watch what you want, but you can't do that. And if you try to save your life, you're going to lose it. And if you lose your life for my sake, in other words, that stuff that you think is so fun that you abstain from and say, I'm not doing anymore, that's you losing your life. And you're like, man, I've been doing this for 20 years. Is it even worth it? That goes back to what I was saying earlier, where the devil makes you doubt before you sin. Where you sit here for 20 years or a few years, and that person that you always wanted to be with came to you and said, hey, look, I know you're married, but whatever. I don't know why I keep referring to cheating examples. Hopefully somebody watching this ain't cheating. But that's just the examples that keep coming to my mind. But if a person comes and says, hey, look, that person you with for years, there ain't nobody or blah, what, however they do it, I don't know. But then you yield to it. Because you get these thoughts like, man, I really have been wasting my life with this guy. I can't stand this man. I can't stand my husband. I've been wasting so long with him. And now I got this other guy coming to me. And you seeking to save your life. You want to do things. You don't want to deny yourself. You want to do things that's going to please the flesh. And ultimately, you're going to lose it. Whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. Sometimes you got to pick up your cross. There's going to be some things that you're going to go through that you don't want to go through. There's going to be things that you're going to deal with that you don't want to deal with. That's just the reality of serving Christ. Verse 26, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Same thing, like what I was saying. You sit here and you don't want to lose your life. Do I want to twerk for that money and be a millionaire, or do I want to stay broke in this house and just twerk for my husband? I vote doing it and being a millionaire, and then you gain the whole world but you lose your soul. You try to find life in this earth, like you set your treasures on this earth. You do things that you know you shouldn't do to get pleasure here, to get treasures here, to lose your own soul. And we already read and we spoke in another video of I remember, if you've watched been watching my videos up to this point, I said we read the verse in I think it was Ephesians, where it said how they that be rich fall into a snare. I keep saying that, but they that be rich fall into different temptations. And you may ask, what temptation? I didn't have an example then, but now you can ask Diddy. Like, that's money. That people sitting here and talking about Diddy, but people don't realize it ain't just him. People were coming to these parties. People were going to these parties. So it's not just him. Money comes with money lusts, and money lusts is strange. So seeking after money, you don't know that you actually become susceptible for these lusts. I will never do such a thing. You ain't never had $1 million. You've never had everything you wanted before. You've never had everything you wanted before. And then after you get everything you want, somebody tell you no, you're going to respond crazy. You sit here and you get all this money, and anytime you snap your fingers, you could get it. And if somebody tells you no, it's going to be different. If somebody tell you, you can't have that 5-year-old, and you're going to be like, why not? Because you in that wicked mindset that you feel like you could just get whatever you want. That's what people end up doing when they fall into riches. So when you ask for being rich, when you look at people and you envy after them, this is a side note, but if you look at people and you envy after them, you don't know what people did to get where they was at. I sure wish I was him. Do you? Do you wish you was him? Do you know what he did to get to where he at? Shut up and be content with where you are. Because you know what you had to do. You had to work at McDonald's a couple of years and stuff. You had to bend over for nobody. And you think, oh, I want what he's having. Do you? You should check and see what they're having before. It's because it looked good. I want what he's having. You looking across the table. I want what he's having. That looks pretty good. They come and bring you a plate full of roaches. Oh, this is what he had. Anyways, for what is a man profited if he shall gain the world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. He's rewarding every man according to his works. Again, show me your faith without your works. I will show you my faith by my works. The underlying factor is faith, as we read as you can read in Romans and Galatians, concerning works. So don't let it confuse you when it says he's judging every man according to his works. Works is faith is demonstrated by works. As in the example I gave earlier, if you have faith on that a job is going to pay you, you're going to do the work. If you don't have faith, you're not going to do the work. And if you don't do the work, and if you're looking from someone who's judging by faith, they're not going to say, "Hey, I'm going to fire you because you don't work or you weren't working. I'm going to fire you because you lost faith and you were faithless, and that led you to not work." A lot of times, like I said, lack of faith is what leads you to sin. Verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there shall be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. I don't understand what Jesus was talking about here. Again, I said transparency is key. Right here, this seems like a contradiction to me, because he says, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Now, just because it's a contradiction in my eyes doesn't mean that it's a contradiction in the Bible. It just means I may not understand it. And I do believe there's something I'm not understanding here. Because if I'm not mistaken, everybody that was standing there died. It says that till they which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Or another thing that I could have not understood. The other thing I could. Wow, Joe Biden. Another thing that I could have not taken into consideration is that when he says the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, I'm thinking he's talking about coming in the last times. But it could have been something else that he was referring to. I'm not sure. That was Matthew chapter 16. Depending on how I feel, I really didn't want to go another day without making another video. But if you cannot tell, I am tired. But when I have a little bit more energy, I might go back into Matthew 16. I'm not sure. But as for now, that is Matthew 16. Most likely, I think I said pretty much everything. I think I gave good insight on this chapter. So yeah, we might just go to Matthew chapter 17 in the next video. Hope everybody enjoys their night or their day, and I will see you guys in the next video.